November 11th is Veterans Day. I'd like to take a moment to express my appreciation and gratitude to every member of our department who serves in the armed forces today, and those of you who have also served in the past. Your patriotism is a great example for all of us. You've helped make this world a better place, and our country the greatest in the world, with your courage, sacrifice, and dedication. No words could ever express how much that means. Those of us who live in peace and freedom will always be grateful to those of you who have helped preserve it. On this Veterans Day, take a moment from your day to reflect and say thank you to our veterans. Let us remember the sacrifices made, the honorable service, and the dedication demonstrated by all those who served as well as those who have loved and supported them along the way. On behalf of our entire department, we salute you and thank you for serving to protect us. May God forever bless you. Happy Veterans Day.
You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay. There is a point beyond which they must not advance. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we're spirits, not animals. And he said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
To all my fellow veterans out there who, however many years ago, joined the military. You left the comforts of your home, you got on that bus, took that drive to that place where you knew what was going to happen, but you had no idea what was going to happen. And you learned to work together with a group of people that you didn't know, how to work as a team, as a fine-oiled machine for this great country. Thank you for all you sacrificed. I salute you. Thank you for your service.
I was in the Army from 1990 to 1994 active duty. I spent another 8 years bouncing around between the reserves and the National Guard from 94 till 2002. Primarily served in the infantry as a sergeant towards the end, infantry squad leader. And in the reserves and in the National Guard, I was in the military police, did a short stint in a drill sergeant unit, and then went back to the military police again.
When I graduated from high school, I didn't have a lot of direction and I didn't know what to do, didn't have a lot of options. I grew up without a father and he passed away when I was 5 years old. I was really looking for something to do with my life, and so I decided to join the Marine Corps at the age of 18. It provided structure for my life. It was what turned me from a teenager into the person that I am today. It taught me responsibility, accountability to myself and to others. I was given tremendous opportunities to lead and placed in those positions where I learned, and a lot of those lessons still serve me well today.
I serve in the United States Coast Guard. I started in 2010 and I'm still serving. My great uncle served in the United States Army. And so I remember as a child seeing a picture of him in his uniform. And I just remember as a child really being inspired by his service and the way he spoke about the military and what his service meant to him. And so that's always been a great inspiration for me. I actually joined much later in life. I joined at 32, and so I've been serving 12 years now, and I plan on doing my 20. I plan on continuing to serve.
Just didn't know what to do after high school. My dad was working 2 jobs. My mom's still in China, and we're living in a motel, and he's having 2 jobs. So I figured I need to grow up, either find a job or do something and help out my dad. So one day I was watching TV, I saw the Marine Corps commercial. I was 14, 15 years old at the time. I graduated high school on Friday. On Sunday, was on a bus to the boot camp. I didn't want to wait because I was anxious what the military's life was going to be like. It changed me a lot, especially when I was overseas in Iraq. It changed the perspective of life. When you're dealing with people injured off the helicopter, you're not just dealing with people who blow their limbs off. You're also dealing with people who are KIA. So when they come off that helicopter, I could see their eyes. They're just motionless. And it just hits me how precious life is.
I served in the United States Air Force from 1990 till 1998. My grandfather served in the Navy during, I think it was the end of World War II. My father was also in the Navy. He served on a destroyer during the Vietnam War. And my cousins were about my age, so they served in the Navy around that same time. He actually served in the aircraft carrier. My father was on a destroyer. My son was born just before I went overseas in Korea. So I left my son, he was less than 8 months old when I left. So that was hard, but it was made me appreciate, when I came back to see him, made me appreciate being with him. That was a long time ago for him, but he understands the sacrifices that our future generations or military personnel are putting forth.
I was born and raised in Brazil. My mother and I, we migrated here to the East Coast when I was 9 years old, for a better life, what you'd call it, the American dream. I got here in May of 2001, and 9/11 happened shortly after. And to me, that was a big deal. I saw how quickly a country came together and how could I serve and give back to a community that in such a short time had already given me so much for my family. So that inspired me to join the military straight out of high school. I'm the first one in my family to be in law enforcement and be in the military. I was a truck mechanic and I transitioned into a UH-60 Black Hawk door gunner. I was stationed in Korea for my first year, and then I did about 5.5 years in Fort Bragg with the 82nd.
I served the United States Navy from 1981 to 1986 and the Army National Guard from 1994 to 1997. After spending the summer, after graduating in June and spending the summer thinking about it, I chose the Navy. I love the ocean. I love ships. The idea of going out to sea for long periods of time, visiting ports, was exciting to me. And I knew I'd be doing that with a group of people that had the same goal and same ideas in mind, who could work as a team and just grow a little bit. In the Navy, I was assigned to Fleet Aviation Specialized Operational Training Group, Pacific Fleet, out of Naval Air Station North Island. I was attached to SEER School in Warner Springs. I then went on to be in supply on the USS Prairie, a destroyer tender out of Long Beach.
When you know what it's like to fight for freedom, you're more grateful for it, knowing the cost, whether that cost has been, American service members' lives, or just pain and suffering, and pushing through so that way others can be free. It gives you a much greater appreciation.
It brings pride that you can't feel anywhere else. To be part of the Marine Corps, to be part of the military services, and so that all comes back on Veterans Day when you really get to take time to pause and think about it and really appreciate not only the sacrifices that you've made, but the fact that there's a lot of people who appreciate those sacrifices, and that makes it all well worth it.
You never really regret the small sacrifices that you make, and you know that those that have made the ultimate sacrifice, that's where it really pulls at your heartstrings, because you feel for those families, our Gold Star families. But so the little sacrifices that we're called to make really aren't anything. As long as you're willing to make them, that's what counts. That's what helps the country get stronger. For me, Veterans Day is about inspiring others to serve alongside the veterans that already exist. So that's what I try to make Veterans Day about.
I try to teach my daughter, I try to tell all the stories that my grandparents had, and also my mom, dad had, and also my story. I basically explained to her as how important the military service for this country is.
I don't think that to be, a good American, that you have to serve. Just appreciate the people who have. I truly appreciate the people who put in more time than mine, and appreciate the people that are out there, the military personnel that are still actively working. And I tell them thank you.
My son is 6. I want him to always remember that America is the land of opportunity. Having an immigrant mother, knowing that I was able to come here and fulfill my dreams and continue to pursue my goals, and being an American, he is able to do the same. So he knows it's a very special day in our family and in our home, and I just want to instill that pride in being an American in him, so that he knows moving forward that this country can do just as much for him as he can do for it.
Remember that a lot of the things we have today wouldn't be possible if it weren't for the veterans who sacrificed their lives, their time, served in the military to have us here today to enjoy what we have.
What they do to keep us free, I think they're deserving of just the utmost respect and recognition of their sacrifice. And really, that's what Veterans Day is all about, is recognizing what they've given.